I was looking forward to surprising my girlfriend Jessica. After 3 years together, I thought our relationship was rock solid. We had our plans, our dreams, and what I believed was genuine love. That day I left work early with a bouquet of her favorite lilies and a reservation at the restaurant where we had our first date. Our apartment door was slightly open, and I heard Jessica laughing on the phone. I froze when I heard her casually bragging about cheating on me with her coworker. My heart shattered instantly. Instead of confronting her, I silently walked away, leaving the flowers in the hallway. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button if you've ever had that gut-wrenching moment when your whole world turns upside down. I met Jessica at my college friend Brian's housewarming party 3 years ago. She was standing alone near the kitchen island, looking slightly uncomfortable with the rowdy crowd. I offered her a drink, and we ended up talking for hours on Brian's balcony, ignoring everyone else. We discovered we both loved hiking obscure indie films, and had the same terrible sense of humor that made others groan. Our connection felt instant and natural. We exchanged numbers that night, and I texted her the very next morning. Our first date was at this small Italian restaurant called Bellini's, tucked away in a corner downtown. I remember how her eyes lit up when she talked about her dreams of starting her own graphic design business someday. I told her about my goals in software engineering and how I wanted to eventually create programs that helped people. After dating for 18 months, moving in together seemed like the natural next step. We found a nice 2-bedroom apartment closer to both our workplaces. Those first few months of living together were pure bliss. We would cook dinner together, binge-watch shows, and spend lazy Sundays just enjoying each other's company. I thought we were building something special, something that would last. Looking back now, there were subtle signs I completely missed or chose to ignore. Jessica became increasingly protective of her phone, often leaving the room to take calls. She started working late more frequently, sometimes coming home smelling faintly of unfamiliar cologne. When I would ask about her day, her answers became vague and dismissive. I attributed these changes to stress. Her graphic design job had become more demanding, and she was taking on freelance projects on the side. Meanwhile, my career was advancing too. I had recently been promoted to senior software developer, which came with more responsibilities and longer hours. The time we spent together diminished gradually. Our movie nights became less frequent, our conversations shorter. Still, I never suspected she was being unfaithful. I believed relationships had natural ebbs and flows, and we were just in a temporary busy phase. I was confident we would reconnect and get back on track. That is exactly why I decided to surprise her on our 3rd anniversary. I had been working 60-hour weeks on a major project, and I knew I had been somewhat absent. I wanted to make it up to her, show her she was still my priority. I cleared my schedule, left work at noon, and stopped by her favorite florist. I spent almost 30 minutes selecting the perfect bouquet of lilies and roses. I called Bellini's and managed to get a last-minute reservation for that evening. I was genuinely excited, driving home imagining her surprised face when she saw me. Jessica had mentioned having a light workday, so I expected to find her home. As I approached our apartment, I could hear her laughter through the partially open door. I smiled, thinking how much I loved that sound. Then I heard her words, clear and casual, that stopped me in my tracks. "Tyler is so much more exciting than Nicholas could ever be. You should see how clueless Nicholas is." Jessica continued, her voice filled with amusement that cut through me like a knife. "He actually thinks I am working late when I am with Tyler. Yesterday I was at Tyler's apartment while Nicholas was texting me about how proud he was that I was putting in extra hours for that big client project. I stood frozen outside our door, my hand still gripping the bouquet so tightly that the stems were bending. Every word she spoke felt like another punch to my gut. My breathing became shallow, my heart hammering against my chest so loud I worried she might hear it. "The best part is how Tyler does not take everything so seriously," Jessica told whoever was on the other end of the call. I later learned it was her friend Amanda. "Nicholas is always talking about our future marriage, even kids someday. Tyler and I just have fun. No pressure, no expectations, just passion." My mind raced back to all those nights I had slight suspicions but dismissed them. The text notifications she would hide from me. The weekends when her girls' nights ran suspiciously late. The mysterious charge from a hotel on our shared credit card that she explained away as a work lunch that had been miscategorized. And the sex, she lowered her voice slightly. but not enough that I could not hear every devastating word. There is just no comparison. Tyler knows exactly what I want without me having to spell it out like I do with Nicholas. I felt physically ill, like the floor beneath me was tilting. 3 years of memories flashed before my eyes, now all tainted with doubt. Was anything ever real between us? Oh, by the way, Jessica continued, Nicholas probably thinks we are doing something special tonight for our anniversary. She laughed dismissively. It is just another day as far as I am concerned. I told him I might have to work late. He bought it completely. To be honest, she said, her tone becoming more serious, I am not sure how much longer I want to keep this going with Nicholas. He is stable, pays most of the bills, and is completely reliable. But Tyler makes me feel alive. You know I am not ready to give that up. Each word she spoke was like watching our entire relationship being methodically dismantled. The future I had envisioned with her disintegrated with every casual, cruel revelation. I am seeing Tyler again tomorrow night, she said excitedly. Nicholas has that big project deadline, so he will be working late. Perfect timing as usual. I had heard enough. In that moment, I made a decision that would ultimately save my dignity and self-respect. There would be no dramatic confrontation, no pleading, no angry outburst. I gently placed the bouquet on the hallway floor, right where she would see it when she eventually opened the door fully. A silent message that I had heard everything. Then I turned and walked away. My movements felt robotic, disconnected from my body. I made it to my car before the first tears came. I sat there staring at our apartment building, realizing that I could never go back to the life I had just 15 minutes ago. I pulled out my phone and called Derek, my closest friend since high school. Can I crash at your place? I asked, my voice barely steady. Jessica has been cheating on me. I just overheard her bragging about it. I cannot go back there right now. Derek did not hesitate. Come over, now. We will figure this out. As I drove to Derek's apartment across town, my phone started buzzing with notifications. Jessica had found the flowers. My phone continued to light up with Jessica's calls and messages as I drove to Derek's place. I put it on silent, unable to deal with her in that moment. When I finally arrived, Derek took one look at my face and wordlessly handed me a beer. That simple act of friendship meant everything. She found the flowers, I said, showing him my phone screen filled with notifications. 27 text messages and 12 missed calls in just 30 minutes. The first messages were confused. Nicholas, are these from you? Where are you? Then came anger. Are you spying on me? Were you listening to my conversation? That is a violation of privacy. Finally, desperation. Please talk to me. It is not what you think. I can explain everything. Please come home. I turned my phone off completely. I needed space to process what had happened without her manipulations clouding my judgment. That first night at Derek's was a blur of shock and disbelief. I barely slept, replaying Jessica's words in my mind, searching for any indication that I had misunderstood or taken things out of context. But there was no ambiguity in what I had heard. You know, Derek said the next morning over coffee. This happened to me before with Allison, remember? I forgave her, tried to make it work. 6 months later, she did it again with the same guy. His words resonated with me. In my previous relationship with a woman named Tara, I had discovered she was texting an ex-boyfriend. When confronted, she cried, apologized, and promised it would never happen again. I forgave her only to discover later that the texting had never stopped. It only became more secretive. I need to get some of my things, I told Derek. I will go when she is at work. 2 days later, I used my key to enter what had been our shared home. The apartment felt different somehow, as if the space itself had been tainted by betrayal. I moved efficiently, packing essentials into 2 large suitcases. While gathering my belongings from our home office, I accidentally knocked over a stack of papers on Jessica's desk. As I bent to pick them up, I noticed a handwritten note in unfamiliar handwriting. Last night was amazing. Cannot wait for more. T. My hands trembled as I found more evidence I was not looking for. A hotel key card tucked in her desk drawer. A gift receipt for expensive cologne I had never received. Photos on her tablet she had forgotten to hide of her, and a man I assumed was Tyler at what looked like a weekend getaway. The timestamp showed it was during a work conference she had attended 3 months ago. The final confirmation of her betrayal felt like reopening a wound that had barely begun to close. I was still staring at the evidence when I heard the front door open. Jessica was home. Nicholas, she exclaimed, dropping her purse. Thank God, I have been trying to reach you. I looked at her, really looked at her, and wondered how I had missed the deception behind those eyes I once found so captivating. I heard everything, Jessica, I said quietly. About Tyler. About how I am just convenient while he is exciting. About how you were planning to see him again tomorrow night. It is not serious, she insisted, stepping toward me. It was just a stupid fling. I was talking big to Amanda. You know how she is. I was just trying to sound cool. 3 months of secretly meeting someone is not a fling, I replied, holding up the photo I had found. That is a deliberate choice you made every day. Her face crumpled. I was stressed, feeling neglected with your long hours. It just happened. Things like this do not just happen. I countered, continuing to pack my things. You made conscious decisions to lie, to cheat, to disrespect what I thought we had. I will end it with him, she promised, tears streaming down her face. Right now, in front of you. I will call him and end it. We can go to counseling. I will do anything. For a brief, weak moment I considered it. The prospect of walking away from 3 years was terrifying. But then I remembered her laugh as she mocked me to her friend, the casual cruelty in her voice. No, I said firmly. I deserve better than being someone's convenient option. Her demeanor changed instantly. The tears stopped, replaced by a cold anger. You are making a huge mistake, she hissed. No one will ever love you like I do. That is exactly what I am hoping for, I replied, zipping up my suitcase. If you leave, I do not know what I might do to myself, she threatened, her voice trembling artificially. I cannot live without you. I recognized the manipulation tactic immediately. I am going to text Derek to come check on you, I said calmly. But I am not staying. Do not try to contact me again. As I walked toward the door with my belongings, she grabbed my arm. You cannot just throw away 3 years. I gently removed her hand. I did not throw anything away, Jessica. You did. I walked out of that apartment and into an uncertain future. But for the first time since hearing her on the phone, I felt like I could breathe again. The weeks following my departure from our shared home were among the most challenging of my life. I moved from Derek's couch to a sparsely furnished month-to-month rental that felt nothing like home. The bare walls and minimal furniture reflected the emptiness I felt inside. Initially, I tried to maintain a facade of normalcy, particularly at work, but concentration eluded me. Lines of code blurred before my eyes as snippets of Jessica's phone conversation replayed in my mind. I made careless mistakes that my team had to correct, and my project deadlines began to slip. The promotion I had worked so hard for suddenly seemed in jeopardy. Is everything all right, Nicholas? My supervisor asked after I missed an important client meeting. This is not like you. I mumbled something about personal issues and promised to improve. But privately, I was spiraling. I skipped meals, lost weight, and slept poorly when I slept at all. I declined invitations from concerned friends until they stopped coming. I was existing, not living. Jessica, meanwhile, refused to accept that it was over. The barrage of texts and calls continued despite my silence. She alternated between apologies, accusations, and attempts to rewrite our history. You were never there for me emotionally, one message read. Tyler was just a symptom of what was wrong between us. Another claimed I only said those things to impress Amanda. None of it was true. When digital communication failed to get a response, she escalated. I would find notes on my car windshield. She accidentally ran into me at my regular coffee shop and the grocery store nearest my new place. Once she showed up at my office building, causing an uncomfortable scene in the lobby. You need to get a restraining order, Derek suggested, after Jessica appeared at his apartment looking for me. But the breaking point came 6 weeks after our separation. Through a mutual friend, I learned that Jessica was telling people I had been controlling and emotionally abusive, that her relationship with Tyler had been an escape from my supposed mistreatment. She showed up crying at Jake and Sarah's dinner party, my friend Tom informed me. Told everyone you monitored her phone, isolated her from friends, even threatened her when she tried to leave. The character assassination left me breathless with rage and hurt. Not only had she betrayed me, but now she was attempting to destroy my reputation and recast herself as the victim. The injustice of it all pushed me to my lowest point. That night alone in my barren apartment, I found myself staring at her contact information on my phone. Part of me considered taking her back just to end the pain and chaos. To return to some semblance of normalcy, even if it was built on lies. My finger hovered over the call button. Instead, I called my older brother Thomas, who lived across the country. Despite the 3-hour time difference, he answered immediately. "I was wondering when you would call," he said. Derek told me what happened. I poured everything out to him: the betrayal, the aftermath, Jessica's smear campaign, and my moment of weakness considering reconciliation. Thomas listened without interruption. When I finished, the silence stretched between us for several seconds. "Remember when we were kids," he finally said, "and Dad told us that our integrity was the one thing no one could take from us unless we gave it away?" "Yeah," I replied, unsure where he was going with this. "Taking her back now would be giving away your integrity," he continued. "She has already shown you who she truly is. Believing her again would be a choice to participate in your own deception." "But I feel so damn tired," I admitted. "Fighting this every day is exhausting." "Of course it is," Thomas agreed. "But here is the thing about self-respect. Sometimes it is inconvenient and painful in the short term. Long term, though, it is the foundation everything else is built on. You deserve someone who chooses you every day, not just when it is convenient." Something in his words cut through the fog I had been living in. After we hung up, I found myself looking through old photos of Jessica and me. I noticed something I had missed before. In nearly every picture I was looking at her with unguarded adoration, while her smile rarely reached her eyes. Our relationship had been unbalanced long before Tyler entered the picture. That night I made a decision. I would not let Jessica's betrayal define me or my future. The relationship was over, but my life was not. It was time to reclaim it, one small step at a time. My conversation with Thomas marked a turning point. The next morning I requested a meeting with my boss, Mark. "I owe you an explanation for my performance lately." I told him deciding honesty was the best approach. "My long-term girlfriend has been cheating on me. I discovered it a few weeks ago, and the fallout has been affecting my work. I apologize." Mark's response surprised me. "My first wife had an affair with my best friend," he shared. "I know exactly what you are going through. Take the rest of the week off. When you come back, let us adjust your workload temporarily." His understanding gave me the breathing room I desperately needed. During those few days away from work, I made concrete changes. I found a therapist who specialized in betrayal trauma. I joined a gym knowing physical activity would help clear my mind. I deep cleaned my apartment and bought a few plants, small symbols of growth and new beginnings. When I returned to work, I channeled my energy into a challenging project that required my complete focus. The distraction was therapeutic. My colleagues noticed the change in my demeanor, and gradually my professional confidence returned. Derek convinced me to join a group dinner with friends I had been avoiding. "Just 2 hours," he promised. "You can leave early if it gets overwhelming." That first social outing was awkward, but necessary. I felt like everyone was staring at me, whispering about my failed relationship. But as the evening progressed, I realized most people were simply happy to see me emerging from isolation. During that dinner, I ran into Megan, a friend from college who knew both Jessica and me. After the others left, she hesitantly approached my table. "I need to tell you something," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "Jessica was not faithful even before Tyler." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "Last year at Rachel's wedding," Megan continued, "Jessica disappeared for an hour with Rachel's brother William. Everyone noticed, but no one wanted to tell you. I should have said something then, and I am sorry I did not. This new information should have devastated me, but instead, it validated my decision to walk away. The Jessica I thought I knew had never existed." A week later, several friends forwarded me messages from Jessica. She was telling people I was unstable and harassing her, when in reality I had maintained complete silence since moving out. After consulting with my therapist, I decided to send one final message to Jessica. "I know about Tyler William, and likely others I am not aware of. I wish you well, but do not contact me or speak about me to others again. Any further communication will be through my attorney." Her response was immediate and vitriolic, filled with accusations and profanity, confirming once again that I had made the right choice. I blocked her number, email, and social media accounts. The complete disconnection brought an unexpected sense of peace. For the first time in weeks, I slept through the night without waking to anxious thoughts. The next morning, I realized something remarkable. I had not thought about Jessica until that moment. It was a small victory, but significant. The grip of betrayal was beginning to loosen. 3 months after discovering Jessica's infidelity, I signed a lease on a new apartment in a different neighborhood. The space was entirely mine decorated, according to my tastes, without compromises or traces of my past relationship. I rediscovered hobbies Jessica had subtly discouraged. I joined a local hiking group, something she had always found boring. I reconnected with my passion for playing guitar, which she had complained was too noisy. With each rediscovered interest, I reclaimed pieces of my authentic self. At work, the challenging project I had thrown myself into was a resounding success. My focus and creativity had returned stronger than before, earning recognition from the executive team. The promotion that had seemed in jeopardy was now secure, with additional responsibilities that stretched my abilities in satisfying ways. Among my new team members was Sophia, a brilliant software architect with a quiet confidence I admired. Our professional collaboration gradually evolved into friendship. Unlike my rushed, beginning with Jessica, this connection developed slowly, built on mutual respect and genuine interest in each other's ideas. "You have changed since I first met you," Sophia observed one evening as we worked late. "You seemed guarded, almost distant at first. Now, you are more present." Her observation made me reflect on how much I had grown. The betrayal had forced me to confront weaknesses in myself. I had been avoiding my tendency to idealize partners, to overlook red flags, to give more than I received. My healing was not without setbacks. A weekend trip with friends to a lakeside cabin helped me realize I could enjoy life again, laughing genuinely for the first time in months. But returning to the city triggered a brief backslide into sadness when I drove past Jessica and my old apartment building. Then came an unexpected test. While having dinner with friends at a new restaurant downtown, I spotted Jessica and Tyler at a table across the room. My heart raced momentarily, but the overwhelming pain I expected did not come. Jessica noticed me and whispered to Tyler, who turned to stare. She then made a show of affection, clearly attempting to provoke a reaction. A few months earlier, this would have crushed me. Now I simply nodded politely in their direction and returned to my conversation. "Are you okay?" my friend asked, noticing the exchange. Surprisingly, yes, I answered, realizing it was true. "I genuinely hope they are happy." That moment was revelatory. The power Jessica had held over my emotions was gone. I no longer cared about her opinion or actions. The freedom in that realization was exhilarating. Seeking purpose beyond my career and social life, I joined a community volunteer group that built accessible playgrounds for children with disabilities. The first Saturday I spent helping construct a wheelchair-accessible swing set gave me a sense of contribution I had been missing. Through this volunteer work and other new activities, I developed a diverse social circle of positive, supportive people who knew me only as I was now, not as half of a failed relationship. 1 year after the day I left those lilies in the hallway, I can look back with clarity. The pain of betrayal, while excruciating, forced growth I might have otherwise avoided. I discovered resilience I did not know I possessed, and boundaries I would never again compromise. My relationship with Sophia has evolved naturally into something genuine and balanced. Unlike with Jessica, there are no games, no hidden agendas, no keeping score. We communicate openly, respect each other's independence, and choose to be together because we want to, not because we need to. The lessons I learned through this painful chapter have been invaluable. Trust your instincts. The signs of betrayal were there long before I discovered the truth. Silence can be more powerful than confrontation. Walking away without a scene preserved my dignity. True friends reveal themselves during your lowest moments. Derek Thomas and others who stood by me are now family. Healing is not linear, but it happens. Some days were harder than others, but progress was real. Sometimes betrayal is the wake-up call needed for a better life. What felt like an ending was actually a beginning. I have forgiven Jessica not for her benefit, but for my own freedom. Carrying anger would only continue to give her power over my happiness. Have you ever found unexpected strength after betrayal? Share your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life experiences. Remember, sometimes the most painful endings lead to the most beautiful beginnings. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the courage to choose yourself when others do not.